Hi, this is Amrita Sukumar, and I'm bringing to you this podcast called Unsettling. Look around you. Everyone is trying to create their own story. Make a tiny change in someone's life by just following their passion and in turn, inspiring the others to follow suit. This podcast brings to you stories of people who have defied the definition of settled set by the society and have created their own. They have found happiness in their version of settled. What is yours? Internet has become a part of our life without which we cannot function even for 1 second. But with it, there is a rise in the number of cybercrimes. Today's guest is the founder and CEO of CyberOps InfoSec. He's a cybercrime consultant and information security professional. He has been assisting law enforcement and intelligence agencies with his domain expertise from last 9 years. His advisories on cybersecurity have been appreciated by armed forces. He has trained officers of CBI, NIA, ATS, military intelligence, Air Force, NSG, CRPF, police. He has also won numerous awards for his contribution in alleviating threats and for his expertise as a cybercrime consultant. To know more about his journey, I would like to welcome Mr. Mukesh Chaudhary. Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, hi. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad to have you here, sir. So, how has your day been so far?
Generally, my days are like routine handling of routine cybercrime cases. Victim, they approach randomly through calls, messages, and police stations approaching me from different states and their routine crimes, because I have trained so many police officers across the country. So they randomly call me for their routine crime cases. Sometimes those are trendy crimes, sometimes those are some tricky crimes, sometimes some absconding criminal is they are behind some absconding criminal.
Okay.
So that is how a general day I spent.
Oh my God. So, sir, what factors pushed you to become an expert in cybercrime and cybersecurity? Did you always have some kind of interest in this field?
No, I was never interested into this field. I never knew about this field even.
Okay. So, how did you come to know?
So basically, from my graduation, I was interested to learn about cybersecurity. I was excited for hacking.
Right.
What is hacking? How to hack into a computer system? How to hack a network? Through that, like I was struggling. Some of my colleagues, some of my friends, classmates, and some of my seniors, they were knowing about hacking, how to hack, but whenever I used to approach them, they never used to share.
Right.
So then I was more and more curious, and then I got one opportunity to work in this particular domain with someone.
Right.
I started initially. Later on, I got to know about an opportunity from the police department that they are looking for some expert to help them to build a cyber cell in the city.
Right.
So that was one of the news which I read in the newspaper in Times of India at that time. And I thought, yes, this is something which I can do. And at least we'll start. Let's see how it goes. So I approached them. I said, sir, I can help you. But I was not knowing much about cybercrime investigation that time. But with the basic know-how, I started researching over internet, and I delivered my first training program for the police department. And then they randomly started approaching me for case investigations, and I started assisting them. And then eventually I became an expert in the domain.
Oh my God. That's interesting. I mean, you had an interest and then you found an opportunity and you ran with it. You learned it on your own, you did your own research, and then now you are at a very nice level. But then, are there any training portals or institutes that teach this in India?
There isn't any such specific training portal for any civilian. But yes, for police department, there are portals developed by police department only, by the government only. And police department, obviously, they get trainings at the respective academies. But for civilians, because see, the important part here is you are going to learn how to investigate a cybercrime case.
Correct.
Now, investigation involves multiple factors, wherein police department's official mailing system is also there.
Oh,
so even though I know how to investigate a Facebook crime, at some point I will get stuck, because to obtain the information of an IP address, I require police channel.
Okay.
Because they are only authorized to get the information from the telecom operator.
Correct.
So until unless even though I have knowledge how to investigate a case, if I am not part of police system, I won't be able to investigate the case entirely.
Right. That is
so
true.
you can always be a consultant to some department, but yes, their mailing system is required.
Right. So unless and until you are associated with some kind of law and enforcement, it's not possible for you to investigate anyway. So even if you have the skill, you have to be associated with them.
Yeah. So majorly, I have worked with the intelligence agencies because that this part is hidden. Moreover, like this is not highlighted, and we are not supposed to share the case studies also.
Correct.
Because
It can
cases
be
related
misused.
to intelligence department, because I have been working with military intelligence from almost 12 years. So military intelligence was my first agency with whom I started working.
Okay.
So then I started working with the police department.
Oh, wonderful, sir. You have such a great story and a trajectory. I am really in awe after listening to all this. Sir, I have this one query. So, in what ways can cybercrime be committed against individuals, and what are the ways in which we can safeguard ourselves against cybercrime?
In India, majorly the crimes are categorized into two major crimes. One is financial fraud, and second is social media related frauds.
Right.
So 90+% crimes are related to social media and financial fraud only, wherein the major segment is of financial fraud in India.
Correct.
So most of the cases which get converted into complaint or which get converted into FIRs are related to financial frauds. So if we talk about financial frauds, there are different types of financial frauds, wherein starting from making a random call, or the victim will receive a random call pretending to be some bank representative, or maybe sometimes a person receives a text message on his mobile phone or her mobile phone that your KYC has to be updated of Paytm or of your bank, and in next 72 hours your account will be suspended. So call on this number to update your KYC. Now, once the person calls, they will ask us, since due to pandemic, we can assist you remotely. So kindly do this. Kindly install one application called AnyDesk.
Correct.
Or Quick Support. So they will install that application, and because since the victim is not much aware how this application works, and they take a remote access of the mobile phone. Now they'll say, sir, just keep your mobile phone standalone, and we will do the needful.
Correct.
And the person is not even aware that what all notifications he is getting. All those notifications are basically the OTPs which this guy is receiving, all the OTPs, and finally after next couple of minutes your account will be empty.
Oh my God.
So this similar exact incident happened with an IAS officer, retired IAS officer, couple of days back. Same thing happened with him. More than 3 lakh rupees were withdrawn from the account. Finally 300 rupees were left in his account. Initially what happened was, like when these kind of frauds started, people used to believe that the victims are not victims are from rural background, those who don't know how to use internet, or those who don't know how to operate mobile phone, or those who are illiterate.
Right.
But eventually the cybercrime modus operandi which these fraudsters are using day by day, they are using social engineering techniques, and they are using certain techniques through which the situation looks very realistic. And that is how sometimes few people who even don't understand this, that even though that if you will be careless, then you can be a victim in a cybercrime case. That doesn't mean you are some IAS officer or you are an IPS officer. Because in last few years, I have been handling cases related to cybercrime cases wherein victims are chartered accountants.
Okay.
Victims are branch managers of some bank. Victims are senior IPS officers. Victims are senior IAS officers. So all these are learned people who have been defrauded.
Correct.
So they know how to operate mobile phone. They know they should not share OTPs. They know do's and don'ts, general do's and don'ts. But even though they have been becoming victims, so those who are illiterate or those who are not tech savvy, they are also a victim. But
Correct.
those who are tech savvy, they are also victim of cybercrime.
Correct.
So ultimately, one needs to understand that if they are using technology, if they are using Facebook, they should know how a Facebook account can be compromised, so that they can secure their account. If what generally we focus on using the technology part. If we are not having our bank account, then we'll visit any nearby bank and we'll ask them, and we'll be interested in the features and functionalities of the bank, my withdrawal limit of the card, or can I have a credit card also, and what will be the withdrawal limit, what will be your fees, what will be your charges and all. Okay, so these facility we majorly focus on. We never ask them what is the security in your bank. Why should I choose your bank? Why should I not go for that particular bank?
Correct.
Why should I opt your bank? So people don't have this mindset. That is the major reason why people are getting defrauded again and again, and that is why these number of these type of cybercrime cases, they are increasing day by day. That is the basic problem. In last 1 year, there's a new trend which we were handling, like we were facing cases related to cyber crimes, wherein like there were multiple victims who were approaching us that our Facebook account got hacked. So initially I couldn't understand in the first second case. I thought maybe like because of some carelessness. Then it became a trend.
Okay.
There was one common thing in all the cases. Every single person was having mobile number as their username and mobile number as their password.
Oh.
Okay. So now I'm not saying that in every Facebook hacking case, this situation will be same, but this is one of the situation which was common in these financial fraud cases. So what will happen, like once your account is compromised, they will ask your friends and family members to transfer 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees or less than 5,000 rupees into Paytm accounts. So now this modus operandi, wherein like you are demanding very less amount, so people will not even think of, they will not give a second thought for transferring the amount. Sometimes few people who are logical, they will understand, okay, this is a very reputed personality, why they will ask for 2,000 rupees. Oh, so sometimes they will call and they will ask, then the victim comes to know that yes, someone has hacked into my account. But this basic thing that you should not have your mobile number as username and mobile number as your password, anyone can guess it. So they opted for this modus operandi. Now, when these guys, when we trace them in such cases, so I asked him, like, how did you got to know that mobile number is his password? He said, sir, like we randomly hit and trial with the mobile numbers. We insert the mobile number as username, we insert the same mobile number as password. Login hota hai to theek hai, otherwise we move on.
Move on to the next, right?
So start with the series, and there was one very senior politician. He is currently a minister also.
Okay.
And very reputed politician. He was also duped. So the police was interested, like how did this guy, this fraudster, got his mobile number access? Because even the senior police officials, they also don't have his mobile number. Correct. How did he got access to the mobile phone number? When this guy was traced, everyone was interested कि mobile number कहाँ से मिला? Okay. This guy replied, so like we don't look for mobile phone databases. We don't have money to purchase databases.
Correct.
We just randomly we just pick a random series and we keep on changing the numbers, and when randomly approach the person, you never know whether the person is a police person, whether the person is a politician. We hardly care for it. Correct. We ask certain data and certain details. If they share us the details, it is fine for us. Otherwise, we move on to the new target. So it's a basic routine modus operandi, and like these guys are not techie guys. Okay. But they are good at social engineering techniques, convincing the person, hacking into human brain. Right. Okay, how you will be easily able to convince the person. And sometimes like they see the situation, like right now during the pandemic, people who are looking for oxygen concentrators, who are looking for
Oh.
oxygen cylinders, who are looking for injections,
Hmm.
and they circulate the numbers that this is the number and this is a
Oh,
verified number.
yes. Correct.
And we have seen multiple cases wherein like regularly we are receiving complaints
Mhm.
wherein they have transferred 5,000, someone has transferred 10,000 rupees. Some senior rank officer, he transferred 20,000 rupees because his mother was having oxygen saturation at 80, and then he was looking for some oxygen concentrator. He
Hmm.
transferred 20,000 rupees.
My
Now he is a
God.
superintendent of police rank officer.
Uh-huh.
Senior officer, he is having all his logics. He know how to deal with someone. He know how to deal with the fraudsters, cyber crimes. He is
Correct.
very much aware.
Right.
But in that situation, you will not even think of that this person is committing crime with me.
Hmm.
So sometimes you are emotional, sometimes you have all the logics, but you will not be in a situation, or you will not be in a position to apply your logics.
That's true.
So
Oh.
the cyber crime always they keep on changing their modus operandis. Now this new thing has come, black fungus.
Black fungus,
now,
yes.
white
Right.
fungus. Now today I have got to know about yellow fungus also.
Okay.
So now
Please.
this black fungus related injections are there are limited injections and
Correct.
patients are more. Now again on the name of black fungus injections, again they
People
will
are
start
extracting.
circulating their fake numbers.
Oh, this is so
So this modus
bad.
operandi keeps changing as per the situation, as per the current situation. At the time of demonetization, like the victims were receiving calls. Hello, we are calling from government department, and we have got this entire black money with us now. And as our prime minister committed 15 lakh rupees in everyone's account, so kindly share your account details. We'll be transferring that 15 lakh rupees into your account. So those who voted for 15 lakh rupees, or those who were having this belief that we will get someday 15 lakh rupees in our account, and so they shared all the details. Now to receive amount, now there you will not apply logic. Like to receive amount, you need to share your bank account number, IFSC code, and branch name.
Correct.
And
That's
at max, account saving type. Account is saving or current type of account. But if they are asking your debit card number, expiry date, CVV, and OTP,
exactly.
so this is a basic know-how which is not there in our education system. So it is not in our lower education, it is not into our higher education. So how people will learn about it?
That's true.
No one is educating them. Now banks send promotional messages. Do not share your OTPs. Now this is in English. Now what about those who don't
speak in English? Correct.
Okay. And depending on region to region, there are multiple languages. So people are not aware. They don't know about the situations. And sometimes people, those who know about that, okay, we should not share OTPs. So modus operandi is not limited to OTP. There are 10, 20, 30 different modus operandis. During the lockdown, there was one guy from Mumbai who was searching for, because all the wine shops were closed. So those who require a daily dose,
right?
So they were just searching for some online delivery option. And some fraudsters, they created a fake advertisements over social media that we can deliver liquor bottles at your doorstep. So he transferred 64,000 rupees. Then he called me up, sir. Like I have been waiting for last 10 days. This consignment of bottles has not been received yet. So what can I do? I said, who told you? It's lockdown, complete lockdown. No one can move out.
Correct.
How they will deliver these bottles to your doorstep? They will not apply logic in that part.
But 64,000 is a large amount of money. I mean, I don't know why that person did not think before transferring that
because
amount.
he ordered in bulk.
That's true.
Because they were also scared. No, they have never seen this lockdown situation. So they thought, okay, I will I should have a stock for 1 month or 2 months.
Great. Oh my God. I mean,
so this is actually this is very vast. Yeah, social media crimes. And this financial frauds, initially financial frauds were started by the Nigerians.
Mm-hmm.
So in India, mostly financial frauds were related to earlier, if we talk about 10, 12 years back or 15 years back, then the cases were related to lottery scams.
Right, I remember.
You have won so and so lottery.
That's
Okay,
true.
or $1 million lottery or $10 million lottery or something.
Mm-hmm.
And on the basis of lottery, they used to defraud people. So then the modus operandi started changing.
Correct.
Then these Nigerians, they used to associate with Indians for the bank accounts. That they used to tell that, okay, we have all the modus operandi, but we need Indian bank accounts. So these Indians, they used to manage bank accounts only.
Okay.
And they used to give their accounts on rent to Nigerians.
Oh my God.
Okay, that you transfer us 1 lakh rupees. We will keep our 10,000 rupees share or 10% share, and we will transfer the remaining amount to your account.
Correct.
Okay. So this is how this modus operandi was being in picture that time. But now also the same modus operandi is there, but now they have they are not dependent on Nigerians. They know how to operate, and they know how
Correct.
to use this modus operandi in the routine crimes. Yes, everyone is smart, and in India, for financial fraud in our Indian IT Act, so the sections are bailable, so no one is afraid of law. Bailable sections are there.
Right.
And they hire advocate for the entire year.
Wow.
So this is how system works. So I'll just give you an example to understand how big the frauds are. Now, because the example which I will give now, you will realize that yes, why should people will not do these kind of crimes.
Correct.
There's one incident wherein there was these fraudsters, they were using some skimming device for credit and for card cloning basically. Okay. So they applied a skimming device, a card cloning device into the ATM machine. So where that particular portion of ATM where we insert our credit or debit
the magnetic card.
Okay. Yes, that magnetic. So it is a magnetic strip reader.
Right.
Writer. That device was fixed on that particular portion, wherein like if any person will come, they'll swipe the card, the ATM machine will work. But the card will be swiped through their magnetic strip reader. Now, while the card is swiped through that reader will read from your card's backside black magnetic strip. Your card number will be there and your expiry date is there stored in that strip.
Correct.
So it will be saved in that magnetic strip reader. And then they will fix a camera on the ceiling of the ATM premises. And from that camera, your ATM pin will be
visible. Correct.
So in 7 hours, they were able to clone 150 cards from one ATM.
Oh my God. Okay.
So at 12:48 p.m., they applied it and they removed somewhere 7 p.m. in the evening, 7:15 somewhere.
Okay.
In 7 hours, they got 150 cards. Let us suppose like maybe someone's account, maybe they are having 50 rupees or 100 rupees in one account, and some account may be having 1 lakh rupees. Hypothetically, if we take average 10,000 rupees per account, then for 150 accounts it will be 15 lakh rupees.
15 lakhs, right?
15 lakh rupees per ATM per day.
Wow.
What if they fix this device in 10 different ATMs? That means 1.5 crore rupees per day. What if they will just do the same activity for at least a week? 1.5 crore into 7 days. Just imagine.
It's a big scam, yes.
And if in the worst case scenario, if some police station will arrest them in a case, it's a bailable offense. They will sign the bail bond and they will be released.
Oh my God. So, I mean, you lost your money, you don't get it back. And even after nothing.
Definitely you can get your money back.
Oh, you
can get your money back. They can be arrested. But they have defrauded 150 people. Not every person will register the case.
Correct.
Even though they are willing to register the case, not every police station will entertain them. Maybe 2 or 3 people or 5 or 10 people will be able to register their cases. Now, out of which maybe 1 or 2 police station will get success.
Hmm.
So let us suppose you are a victim in a case and 30,000 were withdrawn from your account. They will give you 30,000 and will do the settlement. They have 15 lakh
That's like
rupees.
loose change for them. Yes, correct.
Yeah, they'll do the settlement. And they will not even go to the jail. They'll do out of court settlement and that's all done. They'll give you 10,000 more.
My God. Okay.
So they are not even afraid of the system. They are not afraid of the law, and they are not afraid of the police department. And they know how the system works. So if they are from West Bengal, then they will commit fraud in Rajasthan. So that Rajasthan police will not go to West Bengal for the investigation.
Correct.
So if someone's 10,000 rupees has been withdrawn from the account, police will think that, okay, to go to West Bengal, and then like at least we require 30,000-40,000 rupees.
Correct.
Who will bear that?
That is also true.
Our traveling allowance and our dining allowance will not be approved by the department. So we are not supposed to go in third AC or second AC.
That is also
our traveling allowance will not be approved. We are supposed to go in a general bogie, wherein like even though when you are going to any other state or any other city, then maybe you are not allowed to book cabs because your amount will be not reimbursed by the department.
That's true.
So then they will try to somehow avoid the victim. Then they will try to ignore the victim, that okay, we will not register your case. Then they will give certain excuses. Okay, where are you from? Sir, I am from UP. And why are you registering case here in Rajasthan? Sir, I am studying here. Okay, you are studying here, but your bank account is of UP. So go to UP and register case. So somehow these kind of stupid excuses, they are managing that somehow case should not be registered, and who will go to trace these guys?
That's true.
And these criminals, they know this very well, that if we will do the crime in the same state, the probability of being traced is very high. So better from north we should commit crime with someone who is in south, or from east to west or west to east.
That's very smart.
Yes.
Because I had this query because it had happened to two of the people I know. One was my brother, and he got a call from his bank saying someone posing as a person from the bank and saying that aapka credit card approve ho gaya. So you have to click on this link, and then it will take you to a particular site. You have to feed your details, and then your card will be delivered to you. So when he clicked on the link opened and his username was already fed in it. And he was very surprised because that usually doesn't happen. When you log in from your laptop, the username is never fed directly. You have to feed it. So he just checked down, and where these terms and conditions are written, instead of that, only lorem ipsum was written. And then he realized, hey, this is a fake website altogether. And that is when he called his bank. And then they investigated. I don't know what happened to that, but this is something that happened. Second instance was one of my friends was traveling, and he booked a ticket from a very well-known website, which I don't want to name on this channel platform. And he booked, the website was similar to the other website, and he booked his ticket. Everything happened. He got a email also saying that this ticket and everything is there. And when he went there, nothing. It was a fraudulent case. They told him, this is not valid. Whatever you have given is not valid at all. So these are two instances where, people have been duped. And I mean, at least my brother got out of it, but my friend did not. So I guess being careful as much as possible is the only way to move forward.
Yeah, because situations sometimes look very genuine.
Right.
And like there was some guy who was searching for online for holiday packages, and he got some cheap packages, because Google will show you reflect as per the keywords. Correct. If you'll search for cheap holiday package, then cheap plus holiday plus package will be searched over the search engine. And those who create dummy and fake websites, and who are paying to Google for AdWords for pay per click. So their websites will be highlighted
Shown
on the top.
Correct.
Okay. So he got that website, he booked the package, and he transferred the initial amount, whatever the amount was, and he traveled to Goa with his friends. At the time of checkout, the hotel management, they told him that you need to pay this amount. He said, we booked it on discount and this is the advance amount which we have already paid.
Correct.
He said, no. The hotel management said, no, like we haven't received any amount. There was one guy who booked it on your behalf and just give us some small amount, and they said the rest amount will be given to you at the time of checkout.
Oh.
And they paid around 78,000 something to that fraudster.
Oh my God.
And at the hotel, the actual cost was 2,30,000
तो मतलब ये भी क्या हो गया?
without discount, and they paid extra even.
Oh my God.
230 plus that 78,000.
Sir, so is there any way to make out whether the website is original?
Website is original or not? Okay, there are few. There's no proper method, as in, but one basic thing is going to websites like whois.domaintools.com.
Okay.
Wherein you can check website domain name when they have purchased the domain name. If the website is 3 months or 6 months or 7 months old, it may be a scam or it may be a fraud website, but sometimes it can be a genuine website also.
Right.
So this is one of the criteria. And if you're not familiar about the website and you are doing the transaction for the first time, then you should make sure that you should not transfer payment in advance. You book the package. If it is fixed in a way that you need to pay the payment at the hotel side only, you confirm the same thing with the hotel. Some basic common sense and technology, finally you will come up with a better solution. So the steps can't be fixed for each and every modus operandi, because maybe a new startup, they started a new website which is genuine also and 3 months old also. It can't, maybe it is not fraud. Correct. But you may consider that website as a fraud. So if you are not sure about the website, go for the genuine brands or the renowned brands.
Or you can always call and check.
Like,
okay,
let us say if you're going for a shopping website, if you're not aware, if you're not sure about the new website, but you are getting a huge discount on the website. So either go for cash on delivery.
Cash on delivery.
If COD is available, then nothing like that. If you need to pay that money in advance and you are not sure about the website also, better you skip it.
Correct.
Because there is no surety whether your money you will get your money back, because you can get your money back from Amazon, you can get your money back from Flipkart and Snapdeal, but maybe these websites, they have the policy on the website but they don't follow it. So basic common sense is also required. Sometimes people are greedy enough, and that is the reason.
That is true. I mean, you see a big discount and then you feel, I mean.
Definitely, this is genuine, and and why, like, they will never even think of the website is fraud.
Correct. And that's true.
Sometimes people are into this misbelief that mere saath to nahi hoga. Why not?
Sir, I think that attitude is there for everything. Like, denial works. Ignorance is bliss, I guess. Everybody works on that as much as possible.
No, once what happened was sometimes there are instances wherein, like, you don't actually think that this can be fraud. One fine day, I am into a group wherein there are too many officers. So some officers shared a link of Amazon. That Amazon is coming up with a big sale, and this happens on Amazon, Snapdeal. They all come up with their on the different time period, on Diwali and New Year, with Christmas sale, sometimes Diwali sale. So I got the link, I got the notification in my WhatsApp group. I opened the link, and luckily there was one DSLR which I was searching for from past few months for some better best rates or best quotes. and there was a huge discount on the DSLR.
Okay.
I said, that's great. And I searched for some other electronic gadgets also.
Uh-huh.
There was huge discount on those gadgets.
Right.
Like the DSLR, which was like 3.5 lakh rupees of cost, it was available there in 80,000 rupees.
My God.
So I
Okay.
said, great. So I just clicked on add to cart, and then I moved ahead. Then I just rechecked the domain name.
Hmm.
It was Amazon, then there was double N in it. I said,
Okay.
oh, great. Superb. So these are phishing websites, looks
Similar to
exactly
the
similar
original.
to the exact website and the real website, but the domain name will not be same.
Hmm.
So sometimes, clicking on the link and navigating to the website,
Is a bad
maybe
idea.
graphically it will look very similar,
Hmm.
but exactly it is not.
That's true.
So better you search it in Google and then go to the exact website.
Correct. I will make sure I do that, even if I find any kind of
That's
discount.
it's very it's. I can give you a very relevant example which happens in our day-to-day life.
Uh-huh.
So I always give this in training programs.
Hmm.
So whenever we enter into a lift, we press some floor.
Hmm.
Okay, floor, third floor, fourth floor, or seventh floor,
Hmm.
and the gate opens, and we sometimes exit to a wrong floor.
Yes.
We don't see the floor number.
Correct.
This happens in our day-to-day life. The same thing happens on internet also.
Right.
We just click on certain link, and then we start using it. We don't see the address bar, www.something.com, whether it is the actual website or not.
So true. So this has been an enlightening conversation for me. I'm learning so many things. So, sir, I have one more query. When you spoke of social media and finance, so finance we've covered. So social media is something that is up and coming. There are a lot of people using it, and there have been instances of stalking and bullying, which is very common now. So, what in that case would be considered a crime? Because there have been people, considering that I'm also a woman, there have been instances where the men text me on Instagram or Facebook, and I don't know at what point it is considered a crime. And if it is considered a crime, how should I proceed in that case? And even if I give them multiple warnings, they're still harassing me. What do I do in that case?
Okay, so sometimes you see, let us say someone approached you, sending a hi message or hello message,
Correct.
and you are not responding, and the person is again approaching you. Can we talk or can we speak? So sometimes this can be considered as harassment, but lawfully it is not.
Okay.
Maybe the investigation officer is not convinced that this is harassment. So they will be struggling to find appropriate section to book it.
Correct.
Under a crime. Okay. So these are some basic things as per the keywords used or like the activity done. It should come under some Indian IT Act. Now, if some person is abusing and the words are actually abusive in nature, then yes, it can be covered under appropriate section. But if some person is following you or stalking you, or cyber stalking is not a crime as per Indian IT Act, first of all. Cyber stalking does not exist as per Indian IT Act says. There is nothing like cyber stalking. Because let us say I see your photos on social media accounts. How will you come to know whether I'm stalking you or not?
That is true. I will not know unless
maybe
there is some kind of indication from
someday,
yes.
Yeah, maybe someday you will see a notification of friend suggestion. Okay. So when you follow some profile or when you visit some profile, so Facebook or the respective social media profile may give it as a suggestion to you. Okay, which may be an indication that this person must be visiting your profile often.
Right.
Cyber stalking is not a crime. Then if we talk about other crimes on social media, like which are common routine crimes which get converted into FIRs, are related to cyber pornography. Okay, and cases related to identity theft, wherein someone creates a fake account of someone. So these are basic common crimes on social media. Cases related to hacking, wherein social media accounts are being hacked and misused.
Correct.
Cases of Facebook or Instagram page being hacked. Like someone will approach you on your Facebook page that you have 50,000 followers and 50,000 likes on your account. So still your account is unverified. I'll get your account verified.
Yes.
And on the name of verification, somehow you will be making the person as admin, and finally your account is gone and you have been removed from the admin.
Right.
So these techniques and tactics they use, and sometimes they will say that, okay, I'll give you, make me ad manager. And after becoming ad manager, they will gain admin rights and you will be removed from the admin. And I will give you like $500 every week, advertisements and all.
Correct.
So this is again a part of greed only. And I have seen doctors who are earning very well. They they somehow give the admin access to the person and then they are removed from the admin.
Oh.
Just for $500 a week. The doctors who are earning lakhs and lakhs of rupees every month, they still want more, $200, $300, $400 every week.
Oh my God. Okay.
Social media, sometimes it's very tricky also, because sometimes we may get offended from certain message. Maybe because sometimes you see that person is not talking to you respectfully.
Right.
Okay. And you may file a case against the person, but it is not a crime.
It's just maybe.
Let us say there are two statements. If someone says कि आपके फादर का नाम क्या है, तो सुन के ठीक लगेगा. But what if someone says तेरे बाप का नाम क्या है? बाप कैसे बोला? So it's not a crime.
That's true. Bap is a word in the dictionary. True.
Yeah, so it's not a crime. So sometimes we get such kind of cases, so we need to do counseling. we need to explain them. It's not a crime.
Okay, I get it now. So basically, as long as it is not proven that this is going to escalate to something big, it is not considered a crime.
Yeah.
Because I saw on social media there was one influencer, and apparently there was some person harassing her continuously, and he said that I will come to meet you, and he did. So he traveled all the way from Delhi to meet where she was staying, and she had to file an FIR. So when she filed an FIR, thankfully she had the screenshots of all the conversation that she had with that person, and that is how she was able to file an FIR with the police station. But it escalated that much. I mean, that person traveled all the way to stalk her. So that is when she went and filed an FIR. So I was wondering, is there a way to curb it before it escalates so much? And hence the query.
So you have a very good option in your social media profiles to block it. Okay.
Right.
If you want that, yes, the person will follow you. If you'll entertain the person, maybe like, but there can be cases wherein like there can be some psycho who creates multiple fake profiles and stalking you.
Yes.
Then maybe it can be converted into a case, and because see, filing a case is not exactly the solution. You get mentally so much disturbed from it.
Correct.
Okay, so sometimes ignoring can be the solution. I'm not saying a case should not be filed, but you can't file case for each and every activity over social media.
That's true.
Otherwise, you will end up your life filing cases only. There are so many things which can be considered as a cyber crime over social media. You start searching for social media accounts. There are so many accounts and so many posts, so many comments, so many messages, wherein like you can register a case. Like what if someone speaks something wrong about Mr. Narendra Modi? What if someone speaks something wrong about Mr. Rahul Gandhi? If you are a follower of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, or if you are a follower of Mr. Narendra Modi, then you are offended. Go and file a case.
Correct.
And start searching for all those messages and file 10, 20, 30 cases daily.
Yeah, that will be a task.
So this is endless.
Yes.
So sometimes like if someone is approached, blocking can be the solution. In rare cases, maybe the person creates multiple fake profiles and keeps approaching you. Then rather entertaining the person, take screenshot of the message and the profile URL and just draft an application, visit to the local police station.
Okay.
So in India, sometimes people, they are afraid, especially girls are afraid to visit to the police station
Mhm.
because they don't know like how police will treat, whether they will give them a proper treatment or not, whether they will entertain them or not,
Mhm.
or what should we speak, to whom should we meet.
Correct.
Okay, so this Government of India's portal cybercrime.gov.in,
Mhm.
wherein online complaints can be registered. So initially it was started for women and children related complaints.
Hmm.
Later on, now it is open for everyone.
Okay.
Any person who is a victim of cybercrime can file a complaint to Government of India's portal.
Hmm.
Now, reporting to the portal, once you report the complaint to the portal, it will down the line, it will come to your local police station only.
Correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, the problem here is the police station may not consider that complaint, and maybe no action is initiated against
Correct.
the crime.
Mhm.
So this is one of the option for every person, every citizen,
Hmm.
but it may not work at times.
Okay.
So better visiting the local police station, it can be more effective way.
Hmm.
And when someone is visiting a local police station, he or she should not talk to any random person there.
Hmm.
So there is a desk in every police station wherein a
Okay.
duty officer sits.
Hmm.
Now, duty officer is a responsible person to answer your queries.
Okay.
Or if you're not satisfied from any person when you visit to a local police station, at least go and meet to the station house officer of the police station, SHO,
Okay. Okay.
because he or she is the responsible person of that police station.
Hmm.
Now, if that person does not entertains you,
Hmm.
there's a senior police officer to that police station, deputy superintendent of rank of police station, police officer, DSP rank police officer,
Hmm.
or ACP rank police officer. Depends whether your city has a superintendent rank of SP rank officer, or
Hmm.
your city is a commissionerate where commissioner heads the entire city.
Correct.
So wherever commissioner sits, inspector has its senior as ACP, assistant commissioner of police. Wherever SP sits in a district, it is a DYSP rank of police officer, deputy
Hmm.
superintendent of police. Then senior to DYSP is additional SP or additional DCP.
Hmm.
And senior to him or her is a superintendent rank of police officer or a deputy commissioner rank of police officer.
Okay.
Now, this is the hierarchy. So one should know the hierarchy system. If one is not entertaining, that doesn't mean your case will not be entertained.
Correct.
That means you need to approach to the senior rank officer, informing that you visited the police station, but they did not entertain you. What if the entire system fails? No one is entertaining you.
Then?
You can hire one advocate
Okay.
and go to the court.
Oh.
Court will police station to lodge the FIR and investigate the case.
Okay. Right.
But this generally will not happen.
Will not
That
happen.
court will not entertain you. Court will not entertain you only if there is no crime made. Okay. That activity or that act should come under some crime, under Indian Penal Code or Indian IT Act or whatsoever. So this is a general system which people should know. And women, sometimes they are afraid that like if it is a case of cyber pornography, what should we speak, and we are not comfortable to tell them our situation. So there are women helpline cells, women cells or women police station, wherein they can feel comfortable by sharing their details or whatsoever case situation is. And at times I have seen women wherein like they are afraid of registering a case because their parents will come to know.
That's true.
And obviously
yes.
they will tell them that why are you on social media? You should focus on your studies, your career, etc. So that is also the reason.
That's true. So fear is a reason. There are a lot of things, and I was unaware of the way or the hierarchy where I could go and file a police complaint. I was completely unaware. Thank you for telling that. I'm sure most of my listeners were unaware, and they will also be equipped with this information.
So any person, at least they should know that every district, every city has a dedicated police portal. Go to the website, and maybe you need not to visit the police station.
Correct.
Go to the website, see the hierarchy system. SP, additional SP, different rank officers. Just call them up. Their contact numbers, their personal numbers, or their official numbers are written there. Landline along with their mobile numbers are written there. Just call them up, tell them your problem. If it is a genuine problem, definitely you will get an help. You will get the help, and sometimes, even though if you will not do that, you can call up on 100. Because if you call on 100, every complaint is registered, and they will ensure that help help should reach to you. On 100, if someone calls, then the concerned police station or concerned officer will be informed that this is a problem and you should go and visit them, or you should approach them. And it is completely monitored by the supervisory officer or the senior officers.
Okay.
How many people called on 100 and what was the further action initiated on it.
Okay.
People generally don't use this system.
Yes, that's true. Absolutely not. I mean, I've never done it personally. I didn't have I mean, there was never a situation where I had to use it, thankfully. But then, thank you for letting us know. Sir, I have this one query. I mean, we have been on the phone all the time, almost all the time. So there are a lot of apps that we keep on downloading, and they keep on asking for certain permissions, like allow the app to access your phone or your photo or whatever. So is there a possibility of misuse of that access?
Actually, I am against such questions.
Okay.
Everyone knows that we give access to the permissions, we give permission to all the applications.
Correct.
We know, like, we are giving permission of our entire digital life to Google.
Right.
Okay, we already know this. Google knows in and out about us.
Yes.
Like while we are having a cup of coffee or tea at home, our mobile phone is lying there, but our microphone is on. Google is listening us. Okay, so there's no privacy.
Okay.
So first of all, you need to understand whether you need to enjoy facility or security. You need to choose one.
Right.
If you are concerned about security, then there are a lot many things you need to do. First of all, stop using Android.
Right.
Okay. Or stop using iOS. There's an operating system called Graphene OS.
Okay.
Graphene OS. It is built for privacy. Go for Graphene OS. Build a customized phone. Use a mobile phone and download this operating system. Free and open source operating system.
Okay.
It is made for privacy only.
Oh.
So if you're very much concerned, go for this. If you are concerned also, and if you want to enjoy the facility also, so you don't have choice. You have to install the application. Now you can be choosy which to install and which not to install. Let us suppose you want to scan documents, or you want to convert documents, or you want to convert pictures into PDFs. Okay, document scanner kind of application. Then at least prefer for the famous applications like Adobe or Microsoft scanners. So if you go for these applications, they have a legit applications, and they have a protocol, they have a system placed, and they have privacy policies built. They follow the privacy policies. And these kind of companies, or the maximum number of downloads are there. Downloads are into millions, and sometimes the developer, the development company, and the organization.
Correct.
So sometimes you don't know the developer, you don't know the organization, and if you are downloading that may be risky. But there is no fixed formula to choose the application, what to choose, what not to choose.
Correct.
But yes, few basic logics that sometimes, because every application, if they are giving the facility for free, they want your data. It is for sure.
That's
obviously true. They want your data. If you'll not give any permission to them, they will not give you service also. So sometimes certain applications, if you will deny them giving your permission, then they may deny you giving them the service and finally the application will not be installed also.
Correct.
But yes, sometimes there are many applications wherein, like, if the application asks you for 5 permissions, and once you install it, you may remove 3 permissions and you can give them 2 permissions, but the application is still running.
Correct.
This is a basic awareness, customizing the permission, which can be done. Go to your installed applications, go to every application, and customize the permission, that what permission they should have. And a basic common sense is, while installing any application, at least if you don't do much, at least you opt for this option that while using this application only, they should have certain permissions. While you
Right.
are not using that respective application, they should not have permission to certain things.
Hmm.
Because if your mobile phone is standalone and your
Hmm.
microphone is being accessed by certain application, that means they are listening to each and everything,
Oh my God. Okay.
which is wrong.
Right.
And wherein, if I don't know whether you have observed this or not, you talk about some brands
Yes, I have.
and Google is listening to you, and you
Yes.
will see random advertisements on your mobile phone.
Yes. Yes. It has happened numerous times.
But
So,
this happens because our mobile phone all the time listen to us.
okay. I'm getting a Dabba phone from tomorrow. I don't
That's,
want
that's
a smartphone
okay.
anymore.
So if you go for a Dabba phone, okay, there's another problem in it.
Okay.
So in the 2G mobile phones, so
Mhm.
2G is the most unsecure technology with respect to interception. Your
Okay.
calls and SMS can be intercepted very easily.
Okay. So there's
So
no winning.
hardly, yeah. So let us suppose you are using a 2G mobile phone and I am intercepting your text messages.
Mhm.
So I'll send you OTP and I
Hmm.
can intercept your OTP within 1 kilometer or 3 kilometers of range or 500 meters of range.
Okay.
So I will reset your Facebook password, I will reset your Gmail password, everything. So you can't be on 2G. You have to.
So there's no winning.
So even though now what you will think, okay,
Uh-huh.
how to avoid it? You will go
Yes.
to 3G or 4G.
Mhm.
So now the problem with the technology is the attackers, they attack on 3G and 4G and they will downgrade you to 2G. Now again they
Oh.
will intercept it. So you have to finally you have to switch off your mobile phone.
Okay. So basically, the only way to have any kind of privacy is to मतलब संन्यास ले लो और हिमालय पे चले जाओ. That's it.
Yes.
Stay away from all sorts of
If you are on
technology.
internet, you can be
Yes.
hacked.
Yes. So stay away from internet as much as possible. That I guess that is the only way to live with it. Otherwise, learn
See,
how to deal with
you
it.
can do
Hmm.
you can do one thing, like you can minimize the loss,
Hmm.
or you can give a tough time to the attacker.
Hmm.
You can give a tough time by customizing your security and privacy,
Hmm.
but you can't be in this impression that your account is not hacked or will not be hacked.
Correct.
So because majority of people, they don't know that they have been hacked a couple of years back and they are currently hacked.
Yes, they are just bidding their time. Anytime your account
So
can be.
because if you're hacked, that doesn't mean that you will get some pop-up or notification or some letter of from some department that you have been hacked. You'll never come to know you are hacked,
That's true.
because people only come to know that if their password is changed, then they come to know. What if what if someone hacks into the device or hacks into the system and password is not changed? What if your mobile phone you are using and someone is using it remotely? What if your
Hmm.
computer system is being remotely, you are also using it and the hacker is also using it?
Hmm.
If you are aware of this website, SongsPK website,
Yes.
one of the most commonly used website to download songs.
Hmm.
But currently, in past few years, there have been many websites from where people are downloading songs.
Hmm.
But around, if I talk about 8-9 years back, this was one of the most used website in the country. When you type S in Google, Google used to give this recommendation: do you want me to open SongsPK?
Yes.
It was that famous.
Correct.
And Google released an advisory in 2009 that we visited somewhat 200 plus pages, and out of them, no, we visited around 316 pages, and out of them, 127 pages resulted malicious software being downloaded and installed without user consent. That
Oh.
means you are downloading some Salman Khan movie songs, and you never know some malicious application has been downloaded in your computer system, and now these Pakistanis are operating your computer system from that country, and you
Oh.
never will come to know that your computer system is being operated from Pakistan. What if they do some terror activity from your system and you are being caught?
Oh. Oh my God.
So sometimes what people believe is that
Mhm.
अच्छा मेरे सिस्टम कोई हैक करके क्या करेगा, मेरे सिस्टम में क्या है? There's nothing in your system. But
Right.
what if they use your computer system as a proxy?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So crime will be done by someone else and you can be sent to jail for just not securing your computer system.
Sir, you're inspiring me to go to the Himalayas.
Yes, you should go.
I am going. That's my next plan. Sir, वहाँ के लोगों का podcast करूँगी मैं. I'm going. Okay, sir. So coming to a little less scary question. So when did CyberOps InfoSec come into? When was it formed, and what are the solutions that CyberOps provides?
CyberOps was formed in 2016, and basically, we deal into cybercrime consultancy, cybersecurity solutions with respect to security audits. We provide solutions wherein any person or any organization they require secured software solutions.
Okay.
We provide that. We provide consultancy solutions, and then we provide counseling solutions also sometimes. Because sometimes people they don't want any consultancy, they don't want any solution, they just require counseling.
Okay, that's also important.
So we deal with information security solutions and custom made solutions, and as in where like security is required or security solution is required, we come into picture.
Okay, any sort of security, may it be mental or related to IT, CyberOps or InfoSec is providing. Then I have one question, which is, what message would you like to give the youngsters who wish to become someone like you, become a cybersecurity expert?
This is a good time to opt your career as a cybersecurity consultant or information security consultant or a cybercrime consultant, because almost all the companies they want, because not even a single company who can be independent and who are using some IT solutions, they every person, every organization requires a cybersecurity professional to safeguard their systems. So cybersecurity is booming like anything, and it will never end, like, because there are certain fields which will remain. And even though in the pandemic this industry has boomed a lot, because IT industry again was booming, and again in IT the cybersecurity attacks have been increasing, because more and more computer computer elements will be used around the globe. This field will obviously get boost. So they should start their career whatever they know, like just Google it and you will get the solutions. Google it for some good institutes or some good organizations who provide real-time solutions, because there are many training platforms wherein, like, because like we also provide cybersecurity training programs, but we do not only provide trainings. We provide cybercrime consultancy, we provide cybersecurity software solution, we provide cybersecurity audits. So we use this entire knowledge into our training programs. Right. So ultimately, the person who will get trained is getting all this exposure and experience. Right. So this is at least better than a routine training organization or a training institute. So they should wisely select any organization, that if I'm getting training from this organization, why should I choose them? So this is very much required. So whatever level you are at level 0 or level 10, you should keep continuing into this domain and just start. Okay. Sometimes they don't know like how to start and like what all will they do. Just start with whatever you have. Just start with some course at least, and eventually your mentors will guide you through.
That's true. Well, I think everybody and anybody who's listening and wish to get into this stream will listen to your message and just start, and hopefully be where they wish to be in a few years. So this is one last question that I ask everybody on the podcast, and I don't know whether it is relevant to you, but I will anyway ask you, because everybody around you will ask you to get settled, like settle in a particular job or settle in something or the other. So instead of asking other people what settled means to you, I'm asking people who come on my podcast, what does settled mean to them? So I'm asking you, what does being settled mean to you?
It's tough to answer, because I can divide my answer in different categories, like different parts.
Okay.
Settling with respect to career will never happen, because this information security field and cybercrime consultancy and information security is very much dynamic in nature.
Right.
So I can never settle into this field, and I'll never get settled because every time it is something new, and
Yes.
every time I feel this is a challenge and I have to solve it,
Mhm.
and every time there's a new case.
Correct.
Settle with respect to life.
Hmm.
Again, it is tough because for my kids, for my kids, I'm planning from right now, and for their entire career also, I'll be planning. I'll be discussing with them, and I'll keep on working on their career part also, and I'll keep on discussing with them. For my family members,
Mhm.
they are, because they have not many complaints from me, because I give time to others and I give time to complainants, I give time to law enforcement and intelligence agencies. So they will never accept that I can ever settle with my family members.
Right.
So settling for me is tough. Like it's very tough call whether one day whether I'll be settled in a peaceful manner. That if you are planning to go to Himalaya, I can't even plan to go to Himalaya because there's no network.
All right.
Because few of my family members and my friends, because from last at least around 6-7 years, if not
Uh-huh.
more, I am planning to go to Leh Ladakh.
Okay.
And few of my friends waited for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Finally, they had planned and they had visited Leh Ladakh, but I have never visited. Because to complete the entire circuit, you need at least 2 weeks.
Correct. That's true. Mhm.
And for certain days and for certain hours, there will be no network. And I can't be in a no network area. Because I can get a random call anytime that yes, there is this dreaded criminal who is absconding in 3 different states, and it is challenging now for 3 different states to catch the criminal. Now you have to help us in this case.
Correct.
I can get this call anytime. And I have been working with many agencies, with NIA, with Intelligence Bureau, with military intelligence, with police departments, with special task force. So
Yes.
I get so many calls. One day I slept early around 12:30 at night. Okay, so at 1:45, I got 6 calls. So when I saw the calls in the morning,
Oh my God.
3 calls from commissioner and 3 calls from the additional commissioner. And I called them up. I said, "What happened, sir? Mukesh, there's some video which has gone viral in the city, and there's some lady, some guys are forcefully having intercourse with the lady
Oh my God.
in a moving car in
Oh
the
my
city."
God. Okay.
Later on, we got to know that she was a prostitute, but they were hitting her also.
Oh.
They were beating her.
Okay.
And this video is getting viral. So we have to trace the person. We have to trace this accused anytime sooner. So then now this kind of situation can happen anytime. Now in next 24 hours, we were able to trace the guy from Madhya Pradesh. And there was another guy in next couple of days. We were able to trace the other guy also. Finally, we traced everyone. So I can't even afford. I can't even think of. My phone can never be on. Like once there was one of my colleague, team member. He called me up and said, "Sir, आपका phone भी switch off हो सकता है क्या?" I said, "नहीं हो सकता." He said, "Sir, मैंने अभी आपको 2 घंटे पहले कॉल किया था, आपका phone switch off था." I said, "Boss, I was in the flight."
Right.
So he said, "Okay." तभी मैंने सोचा आपका phone switch off कैसे?
Okay. So settling is not an option for you.
Settling, yes, not an option for me.
I guess you will stay unsettled, like the title of the podcast. And
because
it is
settling and a part of satisfaction, I do get small satisfactions when I work with some department, some satisfactory work with some department, and I get appreciation. Then a short-term satisfaction I get. Maybe that is settling for me for a short time.
Yeah, I
Taking
understand.
2-3 days break or so.
I understand. You're doing a great job, sir. Whatever you've been doing so far, and spreading this knowledge, making everybody aware of all the things that are happening in the world. There are I mean, almost 80% of the conversation was enlightening for me. I did not know about it, nothing, zero. And today I think I'm a little wiser. And thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your life and just giving me so much knowledge about cybercrime, cybersecurity, and everything else.
That's why, like, I have just formed one NGO,
Mhm.
like wherein I'll be sensitizing people for cybersecurity and cyber crimes.
Mhm.
So after 1 month or so, like, I'll be doing multiple programs across India.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to it, sir. For sure.
Sure.
Sir, is there any link that I would, I mean, I would like to share it with my audience. So, is there any link that is related to you or your work that I can share? Or any portal where people
That's my
can ask questions?
website,
Your website. Done.
mukeshchaudhary.in.
I will do that.
Like a couple of hours back only, there's one guy who messaged me on Twitter. Said he just messaged me around like from last 1 hour he was sending me a message.
Hmm.
So the messages did not came to me into my inbox. Okay, so I just saw the message notification and I just saw his last message. The last message was, sir, आपको भगवान की कसम है reply जरूर करना.
Hey Bhagwan.
So he was not even able to control for 1 hour, and I
Right.
for that 1 hour I was in a video call, conference call.
Yes.
And what has happened to him, like, this is a very common crime which we left even. This is a very common crime which is happening from almost last 1 year. Some person will get a random video call on Google Duo or WhatsApp, random video call.
Okay.
The moment the person picks up the video call, there's some nude girl at the other side.
Okay.
And the screen will be recorded. So your face will be captured. When you picks up the video call, generally it keeps it in front of your face.
Right. Of course.
And the screen recorder, through screen recorder, the video will be recorded. And then they will start blackmailing you. That will send this video to your friends and family members. Give us 5,000, 10,000, 20,000.
Oh.
And this is a situation like, and now this is sometimes this accidentally happens with someone, but few of them, they will have a proper chat with the girl or the lady, or there are many dating applications wherein they interact with each other, and finally they do this video calls, and the girl starts tripping over the call. And the guy gets also excited, and the guy will also follow the same.
Correct.
And finally, the guys will show their private parts and everything, and this entire activity is recorded. I have seen senior citizens also a victim in these cases. And it is for, like, they will commit suicide if people will come to know, or the society will come to know.
Hey Bhagwan.
And people are scared visiting police station because what they will say. What were you doing? And obviously they'll not be able to face the questions of the family members, of the society. And this is a random crime, so you can't afford to pick up a normal video call. You have to disconnect if you don't know the person.
Of course you should. I mean, I don't know why people are still continuing the conversation.
So see how scary it is.
It is a very scary word. Now I'm aware. Oh my God. So many stories that I'm just going to recall now. And hopefully whoever is going to listen to this, we've been speaking for almost 1.5 hours now, sir. And
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you took so much time out of your busy life. I understand that, there are calls coming and there are a lot of things that you have to look into. And I don't know how big a following I have, but hopefully whoever is there will be so enlightened that they will know what to check, how to be, and what all permissions they can give on their phone, and how addicted they can be to the internet. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for taking time out of your life and doing this with me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, if you can hear this, that means you have reached the end of the episode. So like, share, subscribe, follow, stay tuned to Unsettling. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram page, amritasukumar_unsettling, or send me an email on podcast.unsettling.as@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye.